Hi, my name's Colin and this is the Action Figure Resource video channel, the place for all your action figure news, reviews, tutorials and guides. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome and I hope you enjoy my videos. Today I'm going to take a look at the Batman The Dark Knight Collection vehicles released by Kenner in 1990. The vehicles we'll be looking at are the Batcycle, the Joker Cycle, the Batjet, Batcopter, the Turbojet Batwing, the Batmobile and the Batman Bola bullet. Many of the vehicles were retooled and reissued from previous Kenner lines. For example, the Batjet was originally released as the Sprinthawk from the Silverhawks line. The Batcopter was originally released in the Superpowers line, and the Joker Cycle was originally from the Robocop line. The first vehicle I'm going to take a look at today is the Batcycle. Before we take a look at that, please take a few seconds to subscribe below, smash the like button and click on the bell icon. When you click on the bell icon, make sure you select all from the drop down menu to be notified of all my future videos.
ActionFigureResource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.
The Batcycle was first released as Robocop's Robocycle in Kenner's 1989 Robocop line. The front of the packaging featured an artist's impression of Batman on the cycle and the Dark Knight Batman logo on the top left hand of the packaging. The reverse of the box shows the Batcycle rocket blast feature and the other vehicles available in the line, these being the Batcopter, Batjet and Joker Cycle. The Batcycle came in a clear baggie along with assembly instructions and a 32-page colour mini catalogue. There were also some decal stickers included. The bike itself was made from blue, black and yellow or gold plastic that was very simple to assemble and easily click together, with the central seat locking the two halves together. The detail on the moulding was very good, and rather than being painted, the design solely used coloured plastic. Batman fitted on the cycle in a semi-sitting and lying pose. The Batcycle was a very simple but enjoyable toy to play with and was made from fairly cheap plastic that easily broke and didn't have any action features. Mint on the box, it sells for between $15 and $42. I couldn't find any examples of any loose Batcycles having been sold when researching this video, but a good value would be between the $2 to $10 mark. The next vehicle we're going to look at is the Joker Cycle. The Joker Cycle, like the Batcycle, was originally released in the 1989 Robocop line. As with many of the Kenner releases, the packaging featured an excellent artist's impression of the Joker riding the cycle and the Dark Knight logo at the top left-hand corner of the box. The reverse of the box had the Joker Cycle featured with images of the Batcycle, Batcopter and Batjet. Inside the packaging, The Joker Cycle packs were contained in clear plastic baggies, as with the Batcycle, and assembly instructions and a 32 mini catalogue, featuring Kenner's other action figure lines available. This cycle was made from green, purple and gold plastic that easily snapped together to form the Joker Cycle. The front of the cycle was dominated by a large portrait of the Joker's face. This clipped into place on the front of the bike and could be launched at his enemies with the press of a button. The cycle, however, was poorly designed because the Joker's face on the front hindered the movement of the cycle. Also, the Joker's coat tails hindered his ability to be sat on the cycle. As a result, many of the Joker figures have his coat tails missing. The Joker Cycle was technically a two-seater vehicle, but it was difficult enough to try and fit the Joker on it, never mind a secondary figure. Also, while the Joker's face was attached to the front of the bike, the steering was extremely limited. Despite these faults, there was some good detailing on the body of the cycle. Mint in the box, the Joker Cycle sells for between $18.50 and $43 and loose for around $19. Next is the Batjet. The Dark Knight Batjet was another design that was borrowed from the previous Kenner line. This vehicle was originally released as the Sprinthawk jet in the Silverhawks line. The only difference between them was a retooling of the missile launcher to a more bat-centric one. Other than that, even the stickers were the same as the original. The Silverhawk, however, was grey and orange, whereas the Batjet looked better as a solid black vehicle. The packaging, as with many of the other Kenner figures and vehicles, featured some excellent artwork of Batman flying the Batjet, and in the top left-hand corner was an image of Michael Keaton from the Batman movie. The reverse of the packaging had several images of the Batjet taken from different angles at the top, and images of the Batcycle, Batcopter and Joker Cycle at the bottom. The Batjet had a missile launcher at the front that fired a bat-shaped projectile that was operated by a button on the right-hand side of the cockpit. Its wings could be retracted into the jet's body to be driven in road mode, and at a flick of a button they would pop back out ready for flight mode. Also, the jet's canopy could slide open and close to give access to the cockpit for Batman to be seated. Unlike the Batcycle and the Joker Cycle, the Batjet came pre-assembled and was made from solid black plastic, so no painting was required. The packaging, as with the other vehicles, came with a few decal stickers for the wings, tail and cockpit, and also a decal sticker for the dashboard. The Batjet was a very solid and durable toy, giving kids endless hours of fun creating their own Batman adventures. Mint in the box, this sells for between $35 and $55. Loose, it sells for between $12.99 and $25.99. Next is the Batcopter. The Batcopter was a repainted and re-release of the 1983 Kenner Superpowers Batcopter. As with the packaging for the other Kenner vehicles, this figure came in a box with some very cool artwork of the Batcopter flying over Gotham City, firing its missiles at its enemies on the front. There was also a photo of Michael Keaton as Batman and the Batmovie logo. The Batcopter, like the Batjet, also came pre-assembled and was made from solid black plastic. It came with some decal stickers to decorate the body of the copter and the dashboard. The copter's rotor blades could easily be spun around. Underneath the cockpit of the copter was a yellow contraption that could hold the Joker or any of the other figures by their hand. When the copter's rotor blades were spun round, this caused the figure being held in position here to also spin. This version of the Batcopter, as with the Batjet, looked far better than the original in its solid black colour, rather than the black and blue of the original Superpowers copter. The Superpowers copter was released near to the end of the Superpowers line and had a very short shelf life and is a lot harder to find than the Dark Knight Batcopter, making it more valuable. That said, this sells for between $25 to $85 mint in the box, and loose for between $21 and $80. The next vehicle is the Turbojet Batwing. The Batwing Turbojet was an original vehicle and was not one of those that was a retooled and reissue of an earlier vehicle. This vehicle was designed to be 3 separate vehicles. Its default vehicle, as shown on the packaging, was the Batwing Turbojet, but it could also convert into a street racer for high-speed chases through the streets of Gotham. Or the wings could become a turbo glider for Batman to fly after any villains. The Turbojet was very well moulded and was highly detailed and was made from a solid matte black plastic, except for the canopy that had a slight gloss effect to give it a glass look. It was shaped similar in style to the Batwing, with 2 workable gun turrets behind the canopy and 2 tail fins that fired yellow rockets and could be detached from the Batwing. Each wing had a black Batman logo on a yellow background, and on the undercarriage there was more detail and 2 gold wings, with the Batman logo on their hubs. These fall when it was in street racer mode. The canopy could be opened and closed in order to sit your Batman figure inside. The cockpit had a detailed dashboard decal with all the instruments for him to use. To convert the Turbojet into the street racer mode, all you had to do was clip off the wings and the back wheels would pop out of the wings and the front wheel could be pulled down. The third mode was attack glider mode. In this mode, when the 2 wings were clipped together, they created a C-clip that fitted around Batman's waist to keep Batman in position under the wings. The gun turrets could also be attached under the wings, ready for Batman to make a quick flying pursuit or attack of his enemies. Mint in the box, this sells for between $50 to as high as $290. The average price I found was around the $60 mark. Loose, it sells for between $43 to $90. Please note that the prices vary hugely on this vehicle depending on the demand and availability at the time of its sale. Next is the Batmobile. The Kenner Batmobile, which was released in 1990, is one of the most iconic of all the Batmobile vehicles released. The front of the box featured some very impressive artwork of the Batmobile, with the Batman logo on the left and the Michael Keaton profile on the right. The reverse of the box showcased pictures of the actual Batmobile, plus the other vehicles in this collection. Exactly the same vehicle was later released in the Batman Returns collection, but with new packaging as the Bat Missile vehicle. This Batmobile looked identical to the movie version of the Batmobile, with pop-up gun turrets on either side of the vehicle and a turbo missile launcher at the front of the car. It also had a pop-out exhaust flame at the back that rotated when its wheels were turned. The canopy could be opened and closed in order to sit Batman inside. However, sitting Batman inside the vehicle was a very difficult procedure, and it was even harder to get him back out. This meant that often on the Batmobile, the hinge for the canopy was broken. It is for this reason that I rarely put the figure into the vehicle, and usually when playing just pretended that Batman was inside and kept him to one side. Another problem was that this was only a one-seater and not a two-seater. But that said, if it had been a two-seater vehicle, it would have been a lot bigger and more expensive, and as a one-seater vehicle it actually looked pretty cool. Mint in the box, the Batmobile sells for between $300 to $160 and loose for between $90 and $150. Bear in mind that the prices here reflect the enormous demand and popularity of this Batmobile compared to most of the others. The next vehicle I'm looking at today is the Strike Wing vehicle. This is rather elusive, and there seems to be few of them around and even less information on them. The Batman Strike Wing looked very similar in style to the Batman Forever Batwing vehicle. It was a solid black design with a missile launcher at the front that fired a bat-shaped missile. Its wings were curved and shaped like bat wings, and each wing also had a gun. But these were for show and didn't actually work or fire any projectiles. There was also a gold canopy that opened. When researching this video, I couldn't find any examples of this having sold within the last 3 months. The only prices I could find were mint in a box between $9.99 and $35, loose for between $5 to $10. The last vehicle I'm looking at today is the Batman Bola Bullet. The Batman Bola Bullet came packaged in a box with an artist's impression of Batman inside the Bola Bullet on the front, along with the Dark Knight Collection logo. The reverse of the box featured several images of how to operate the Bola snare launcher, which was situated on the right hand side of the cockpit. There were also several images of the other vehicles in this line. The vehicle had a solid gold body with a single wheel at the front and 2 larger wheels at the back, giving it the look of a classic drag car from the 70s and 80s. On the right hand side of the cockpit was a slot for keeping the Bola snare, which was attached to the vehicle with a cord for easy retrieval. The launcher was situated on the left hand side of the cockpit. When the projectile was fired, The snare was pulled with it, creating the Bola effect to capture and disable any villains. It could also be used in bullet mode by clipping the snare section to the top of the Bola bullet. Mint in the books, this sells for as low as $10 and as high as $140. I couldn't find any examples of this that had been sold recently in order to price the loose one. I would suggest loose it would probably sell for around the $20 to $30 mark. However, judging by the price of the mint in the box vehicle, it's possible you could get as high as $100 for this. In my next video, I'll be taking a look at the Batman Returns vehicles. This includes the Bat Missile, the all-terrain Batski boat, the Turbojet Batwing, Bruce Wayne's Custom Coupe, Laserblade, Robin's Jetfoil, the Skyblade, Skydrop, and Penguin's Umbrella Jet. Also, the variant Cameo Attack Batmobile. Don't forget to take a few seconds to subscribe below, smash that like button, and click on the bell icon to be informed on my future videos. When you click on the bell icon, make sure you select all on the drop-down menu. For more Batman videos, check out my playlist here.
ActionFigureResource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.